What's up, cyber friends? Kyser here. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to hack the SAU machine from Hack the Box. Let's go. Before we get started, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe for more hacking and cybersecurity content. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is do an nmap scan. So we want to do nmap, and then we would do -p- for all ports. This will scan all 65,535 ports. And then we'll do -s, lowercase s, capital S for a SYN scan. This is not a full connection, so it makes it faster when you do this. Full connection would be a -s capital T. Also, we need to put sudo in front of this because when you do a SYN scan, you have to have root privileges. And then we would do -T4 to speed it up even more. I don't like to do -T5 because -T5 actually misses ports quite often. So I do, the default is -T3, so I bump it up one notch with -T4. Like I said, -T5 is a little too fast. And then if you do -PN, this will skip the ping. So this is what you want to do on most Windows machines. If you know your target's a Windows machine or has a chance of being a Windows machine, you usually want to do a -PN because it's going to skip pinging, and Windows machines by default don't respond to pings. And if it doesn't receive a ping response, then nmap just thinks it's not online. So if you do the -PN, it just skips the ping altogether and just scans as if it's you're basically assuming that it's online. It's not doing a check to see if it's alive, basically. And then you would do the IP address. So in our case, what is my IP address? So if we go to the Hackbot dashboard, if you click on the IP address, this is the target IP address. And then we would just paste it in here. And then we'd run that. Type in your password. And this is going to be a quite lengthy nmap scan. So I already ran this scan prior to the stream. So if we do a cat nmap.txt, these are the results of that nmap scan. This is exactly what we would get. So we have port 22 open. We have port 80 open, we have port 8338, and we have port 55555. Now my first instinct is, so these are actually filtered, these aren't actually open. So filtered, it could be open or closed. More times than not it's closed, I would say. So these ones potentially could be open, but more likely they're going to be shut down. So knowing that, my first instinct would be to check to see what's on this port. So an easy way to do that, honestly, is if you just, I don't even know why I copied that, it's just 5 5s. But if we go to open up a new tab in our web browser here, and we will, let's get our IP address again. And we'll do http:// IP address and then :55555, and we can see what's on that port potentially. We have a web server here, some sort of application that does something with baskets. You can see we see request baskets up here. We can create baskets. If you look, we don't have any baskets yet. It'll say request baskets. And we got up to version 1.2.1 was discovered to contain a server-side. Overall, you can click around a lot here. SFRF, but by the we actually don't really need to do a whole lot of the app right now. The most important thing that we see right now is actually this vulnerability allows attackers on the bottom here to powered by network resources and sensitive information by a crafted API request. So if you do some Googling, and then it also gives us some settings to apply. If you look down here, it'll say forward URL, and then it has like localhost :80/test, turn on proxy response, and yeah, so we can emulate this attack a lot easier. So you can use Burp Suite for this, and that's how I initially exploited this, was with Burp Suite, but I actually found it a lot easier to do it this way. So let's go ahead and create a new basket here. We're going to call it Kyser because that's my name. So we have a basket created here. The token is this, that we don't need to worry about the token, so don't worry too much about that. Just know that as long as we get created basket successfully here, we're good. So we can hit open basket here, and this is our empty basket. And we can actually navigate to our basket by going to this URL here. and we can click this a copy, and then we can actually, let's go and close these tabs. So if we go there, this is our basket, empty, completely empty. So but we know that this is vulnerable to SSRF. How do we take advantage of it? Like I said, that information was right here, and we can actually see more information about this. They give us a link here, so let's go ahead and copy this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to. Oh yeah, this one does take a second to load. So request baskets SFRF details. They give us some credits here. So there's the description. So this is just more information, but this is the request we're sending right here. Minus the /test. We're going to exclude this. And like I said, you can actually copy and paste this and put it in a burp and it will work. It works, but I couldn't get it to work as reliably as the way I'm going to show you how to do it. So I do think the way that I'm going to show you is the best way of doing it and the easiest way to understand. But this is, like I said, this is just background information. Alright, so to exploit this vulnerability, the first thing we need to do is we need to go to our basket. So if we go back to the the home of port 55555, we can see my baskets. Click on our basket again, and if we click the gear settings icon here, we want to put our forward URL. Remember, it said, so we go here, it will say forward URL. Oh my gosh, I clicked it and it went full screen on me. I was trying to copy and paste it. So right here, http://127.0.0.1. That's just a local host that every computer has if you're unfamiliar. And then :80 just designates port 80. So we want to set the forward URL to this. Like I said, we're not going to do the /test because we don't need to. So we'll copy this and paste it in here. And if we go back over here, it says request response false. So expand path is true, but proxy response is false. However, we're going to enable that. And we are also going to enable expand path because that's what they had set anyways. And then we're going to hit apply on this. So it says basket is reconfigured. Okay. And this is where the vulnerability is. So this is our, remember this was our empty basket, but since we changed the request forward URL, it's going to send us somewhere else. So if we refresh the page, it sends us here. It doesn't look like anything's going on here, but basically what we just did was we successfully exploited SRRF, server-side request forgery, and we're seeing this other web page here that's powered by Maltrail version 0.53. So if we Google this and we do some research on it, we will eventually stumble across this here, and this is the vulnerability description. So unauthenticated OS command injection in Maltrail. Description: so version 0.54 is vulnerable to unauthenticated OS command injection during the login process. Summary: the subprocess .check output function in Maltrail core HTTP.py contains a command injection vulnerability in the params.get the username parameter. So that's key right here, the username parameter. An attacker can exploit this vulnerability by injecting arbitrary LS commands into the username parameter. The injected commands will be executed with the privilege of the running process. This vulnerability can be exploited remotely without authentication. So this is really juicy information here. And it also gives us a proof of concept here, also known as a POC. It just, it's a curl command, and then you put some data, and basically what they're doing is they're putting ID, which is a system command in Linux, into the username field. And this is how you run the command. So basically, if we just replace ID, well, actually, here's the whole command. They're just putting it in temp bbq. So this is the command to run. If we just replace this with whatever command we want to run, we can run like I said, pretty much any command that we want with this. Let me show you how to do this. So now that we have the background information now, let me show you how to actually practically exploit this vulnerability to gain a system shell. Let's go back to the settings. So we went to, so remember, it was during the login process. Remember, that's what it said back here. Oh man, what tab was that? There we go. So during the login process. So if we do this, go back to our basket. Sorry, I clicked a bunch of tabs because I don't know which tab I'm supposed to be on, but if it's hard to follow along, I'm sorry. So go back to our basket, and we want to change the forward URL to /login, like this. And that's all we have to do. And hit apply. Now that we have that set, we can actually run a command like this. Obviously, we're going to do a different port because we're on different ports and stuff, but I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So let's go ahead and clear this out, and we also want to split the terminal 3 ways. Zoom back in. Alright. So this is the command we're going to run to exploit this. I'm going to explain what this is in a second. I got to get the right IP address in here. This was the IP address of the machine when I first exploited this. Obviously, it's updated since then. All right. All right. So here we go. So it's curl dash capital X host, and then we're putting the vulnerable location. So that's the server that the target with the port 55555 / Kyser, because that's the name of our basket. And then we're going to do -- data, which means we're just telling it what information we're trying to send it. So this is where the username parameter comes into play. So you can see we got username here, and then we have the command that we're going to run. So this command right here is a curl to so 10.10.16.6 right here. This is my hack the box IP address. As you can see up here on the top right, that's my tunnel 0 IP address to the hack the box network. And then basically it's saying that we want to download exploit.sh and run it from here. So we need an exploit.sh file, which I already have this on my machine. So if we do a ls, you can see I have exploit.sh here. Let's see what's inside of it. So cat exploit.sh. So this is a simple one-liner that is a reverse shell. If you look here, here's our IP address here, 443. This is basically just telling the target to connect back to our machine at our IP address and our port. And like I said, it's just a one-liner bash script. So we need to host this on an HTTP server. So the easiest way to do that in Kali Linux is just to do Python 3-m http.server. So when you do Python 3-m http.server, you are hosting a HTTP file server, all the files in that directory. So essentially, so if we do ls again, I'm going to be hosting these 2 files because that's all that's in this directory on an HTTP web server for people to download essentially. Let's do Python 3-m http.server 80. So now we're hosting it. I put port 80 because port 80 is the well-known port for HTTP traffic, so I like to do port 80. You can use whatever port you want. I just find port 80 to be the easiest. And then, so now that we're having that exploit.sh hosted on our server here, we need to before we exploit this, we need to set up a netcat listener. So to do that, it's super easy. netcat-lnvp 443. I'm listening on port 443. That doesn't really matter. Just choose a port that's your favorite number. I like 443 just because it looks normal, I guess is the best way to put it. It's like 443 traffic is normal. I mean, we're not trying to evade a blue team or antivirus or anything, but if we were, 443 is like the least suspicious traffic, really. So that's why I like to use 443 as my listener port. So now that we're hosting this web server, and now that we're listening on port 443, we can send this command finally. So send this command, push enter. It takes a second or two or three, but eventually it's going to, right there, I just downloaded our exploit, as you can see from our logs here, and then you can see right here, connect to from, we just got a connection from the target machine. And then to prove it, we can do, if we do, who am I? We are Puma, and if we do an ID, you can see we are Puma. So this is on the target IP address. Or sorry, not target IP address, just the target machine. So we have gained initial access successfully through the request baskets exploit, as well as, what is it, mail trail? That's what it's called, mail trail? Yeah, mall trail exploit. So there's two vulnerabilities here that we're taking advantage of to get our shell. And that is the hardest part of this box, because the privilege escalation is actually some of the easiest stuff that you can really run across. Let's go back to our terminal. And once you get your shell, you want to stabilize the shell like this. You want to do /bin/bash-i. So if we do this, oh, I put it on the wrong one. Our shell's right here. So now we have like a prompt here, so it looks better. And then if we do the common Python shell stabilization, do clear, yeah. So if we wanted to do clear, we can do export term equals x term, and now we can do a clear. See, and then we can actually close this out, and we can actually close this out. Let's not close this connection. I think we need to keep this connection open. We might not, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to close this down, so we'll keep this one open here. All right, so now, see, this is what's unfortunate about reverse shells. They're a little finicky sometimes. So if we do a change directory, and then we'll go to the home directory of this user, and we do ls, and we can see the user flag right here. We can do a cat user, see, I don't have tab autocomplete, user.txt, and right there, that's our flag. So you would copy and paste that, put it in the Hack the Box dashboard to capture the user flag. So now we want to escalate our privileges, and like I said, this is actually very easy. So let's go and clear this out. If we do a sudo -l, which is something that you always want to do if you can when you first get in a Linux box, because this will tell you what the user that you're currently compromised can run as root, which is, you'll often find vulnerabilities here in capital flags. So it says user Puma may run the following commands on SAU. All, no password. So we can, basically what it's saying is we can run /user/bin/systemctl status trail.service without a password, which is great news because we don't have the password. And if we do a quick Google search, so if we do this is a very common website for Linux privilege escalation, GTFO bins. And if we just search for systemctl right here, so click on that. So we have sudo permissions for systemctl, and it gives us 3 different ways, A, B, and C, to take advantage of this and become root as the current user. We're going to go with the C route here because it is the easiest. As you can see here, it's literally 2 lines of commands. So it says this invokes a default pager, which is likely to be less. Other functions may apply. If we just run these, we'll get root. However, we got to do a little bit more than that because we can't run systemctl by itself as sudo. We have to run it like this. We have to specify the full path, then we have to do status, and then we have to specify trail.service. So all we have to do is sudo and paste this. And then if we just do !sh, now there we go. The hashtag symbol prompt here, which means we're root. If we do who am I? You see root, and if we do an ID, we are root. And we can see the root flag like this, so we can do cat/root/root.txt, and that is the root flag, and that is the end of the machine. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for more hacking and cybersecurity content. I got a lot more content on the way. Also, I do streams at twitch.tv/KyserClark_cybersecurity. That's where this video originally came from. So if you want to be part of the live stream, go ahead and check out the channel. Leave some feedback in the comments and let me know how I did with the explanation in this video. And hopefully I see you in the next video or one of my live streams. But until then, peace out, take care, have a good one. Kyser, out.